This is Maricela, and today is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018, so that would make it my day 8. So I've been on the Juice Fest journey for 1 full week. And if you can see, I did create my 100 days of juice. And Charlie, sit down. My dog's in here trying to find food. Just lie down. So up there you can see what I did was I did it by dates. I actually had originally thought I was going to do 100 days and like work off each day, but when I started, I basically started doing the months. So I had started with April 17th, that's when I started, and then it goes all the way down, just in case I make 100 days, it goes all the way down to July 25th, which would be the last day if I did 100. Now remember, I'm fluid, so if something happens, or I think it's best if I switch to, or try to switch to a whole foods diet and continue, then I will try to do that. The reason that I did juicing was I really needed something very focused, very drastic, kind of. I know it's drastic to many because you're not eating anything. And I'll talk about the main reason for that is because I am definitely addicted to food, psychologically at least. It basically helps me cope with everything. It's just the same as, gosh, I don't know if you saw this today I happened to see it today on that Megyn Kelly show. She actually had women that had become alcoholics just from the stress of motherhood. So I think so many people are addicted to something. Just some of us, it can go on a lot longer maybe, or it can be something that's not going to interfere with your daily life, whatever you're addicted to. There was one thing that I'd already noticed, besides feeling better, I guess, overall my midsection. I haven't been going to the bathroom 85 times a day, which is awesome. That is an exaggeration. And my restroom adaptations that I have are actually less than I was having to do now. So I am very glad for that. Very glad. Yesterday I noticed a smell, okay? And it's something that I hadn't smelled in a long time. And so I realized this morning, or kind of overnight, I thought about it because it lingered everywhere. I'd come into a room and it was there. And it was everywhere, right? So that I would go. And I realized overnight that the juicing has probably removed whatever blockage was there for this olfactory sense to be working in that way so that I can smell this. I guess in a way it's a good thing. Yeah, that's clearing up, and I still feel like I need to use Kleenex a lot. Because I get food stuck in my throat, I would often have to blow my nose before and during while I was eating. So that was fun. And also, since I'm not eating, actually having to masticate any food or anything with my jaw, things are just easier. And today I actually feel pretty good. Today though, the 8th day, was the first day when I got all sick, I got chills, and I had to go to the bathroom. And that I would get that sometimes just being me, okay, just eating a regular crappy diet. And so what that made me think was that something might be starting to clear out. So that's a good thing. Today I went, and I'm a little concerned about my juice diet because there are some issues with trying to get groceries and things, monetary wise. And I'm going to see, how long I could go. So today we went by the store on our way home from my daughter's school. My daughter she's in the Gifted and Talented program at school, and today they had their showcase. They've been working on this collaborative project since February. And it was so cute. I mean, and obviously cool to see all the work that they put into it. She's explaining everything. The kids decided to name it Great Times Land because it was GT Land, gifted and talented. So it was really neat to see that. And then afterwards, my husband and I went over to Kroger, and I picked up 2 more things of kale, another set of beets. I think I should have got lemons, but I think what we're going to do right now is probably go to a day-to-day basis on going to the grocery. So I'm basically going to look at, do I really need something? Excuse me. And then go to get the groceries. Oh, that reminds me, I need to tell my husband we don't have rice. I'm making my kids' favorite meal, and we don't have the rice to pour it over. So, let me tell you about their favorite meal, and I'm gonna want some, I'm sure, even though it's just it's a comfort thing. My father used to make this when I was a kid. So every week we would have what we now call stew meat, but my sister and I had called it liquid meat. I never thought of how that sounds as a kid, and I'm sure my parents laughed about it. Okay, we're gonna have liquid meat. It's like I took some meat, right, and juiced it, and I'm gonna have liquid meat. All it is, it's the simplest thing ever. You go to the grocery store or your butcher and get your meat and your stew chunks. So you're buying a package of stew meat, and then you take your stew meat, you pop it in your crock pot, and I'm using my Instant Pot because my crock pot lids both broke. I had 2 beautiful crock pots, and both of the lids are broken. I'm a guest. Okay, so you put in the stew meat, and then you take 4 cans of cream of mushroom. Now, if you've never had it before, do whatever cream of mushroom you want. But if you've ever used cream of mushroom, the best one is to get the regular cream of mushroom, not the reduced sodium. Reduced sodium is so runny that it doesn't really stick to the rice. The rice doesn't absorb it. But when you have the regular cream of mushroom, you put it in the pot over the stew meat, and usually I set it for 6 hours on low. You can do 4 hours, about 4 hours high. But then I also like to kind of mash up the meat when we're done to see if I can get it into smaller chunks so there's more meat to go around. Because it's really like the flavors the kids love, and I don't know, it's such an easy breezy recipe. Then you make the rice on the stove, and then you pour it in a bowl and you put some stew meat on top, and the kids are just in heaven. So we decided to call it stew meat when it came to our home. I always remember the first time I told my husband, I was like, "Oh, you'll love this. It's liquid meat." My dad was making liquid meat. And my husband's like, "What?" I think he was my boyfriend at the time. "What is that?" Oh my gosh. It's so funny. You had to be there. Guess I'm just going to be having my main green drink tonight because yesterday when I didn't do a video, sorry, I had actually made everything at one time because I said, I might as well, and I'll stick it in a little container and I'll have it to the side. Because I had to take my daughter to ballet and everything, so I ended up taking a little Keurig coffee type cup with me, filled with my red juice. And then it was hilarious because apparently while I was drinking my juice, I'm used to using a straw. I use one of those heavy duty, I guess it's like a heavy duty plastic type straw that came with a Mason cup or something that I had before. And I was drinking it with a coffee lid, and it's one of those that you pick up the little lid part and then you're drinking. And so my daughter comes out at the end, that's an hour and a half later, and says, "Mom, is your nose bleeding?" I said, "No, did I get beet juice on it?" And it was literally all right here. Oh my gosh. It looked like blood. It really did because it was juicy, right? So it wasn't just solid line. It looked a little splotchy. My goal for this, coming week, and today's Tuesday, right? So is to just continue what I've been doing. Let's see, what days do we have here? We have the 24th through the 30th. Okay, so on the 30th will be my 14th day. I am having longer periods of time without the tingling in my extremities. So I'm quite interested in continuing. And one of the things that is helping me continue to do the juicing instead of give in to my cravings, because let me tell you, dear, I want Kung Pao chicken. Let me tell you, honey, I want some macaroni and cheese with some spice in it. I want Popeye's fried chicken. So, okay, let me tell you, I do. I want avocados. Every time I've been watching Kitchen Nightmares, y'all, because I've never seen it before, and I loved Restaurant Impossible because I did see that. And I've been watching Kitchen Nightmares, and yesterday he made that Ramsay fella made this gorgeous salad, and he put all this beautiful avocado on top, and I was like, oh, I want you. But I could not have it, alas. And I know some people just can't stand avocado. It's a love it or hate it. Baby, I love it. It is the condiment of choice. If I had to lose every other condiment in the world, it would be fine if I could have fresh, beautiful avocados. Because they're so delicious. They make things so good. I got off track. Big time. So, I do have a lot of cravings, but what I'm using finally, and it was so hard for me to get to this place, you guys. I mean, it was so much better for me to eat there's no bad foods, to eat the things that were ultimately hurting me because I couldn't cope anymore with any kind of stress. That was anger, too much happiness, anything that can set any kind of emotion going. It had gotten to the point of where I couldn't process anything, and I needed to eat something to help me. And it basically deadens that, feels it out. I'm going to tell myself I'm not going to eat that. I'm thinking of those adaptations that I have in the bathroom and how they've only gotten worse, and they've only gotten more complicated and ridiculous, and how I come out of the bathroom, I'm short of breath, just like I walked around the block. Oh, just like I walked to the end of the driveway. Okay, so there's that. The other thing is now I can think clearly in my mind, and I couldn't do this before. I think to myself, next year I really want to take my kids to this festival that I wanted to go to this year, and it's just not going to work out because we're going to get there. I'm going to be tired and exhausted. They're going to need me to be able to do something, and I just want to do something. Or I think about things I want to do with my husband or anything. And it is helping me in ways that it wasn't able to do that before. And I'll tell you, it's because I could still do enough that it didn't seem to be, you look at the scales, right? Scales of justice. Let's go with the scales of justice. So my weight is a big factor and, hurting everything, but we could kind of balance some things out. So I could have a chopped beef baked potato, right? Or we could go to Papa's Seafood and I could get my favorite shrimp because they make the best shrimp in the world. Well, okay, Papa's Seafood from around here. Okay, from what I can afford. So those things. Yeah. And it is so wonderful to be able to eat and enjoy a day or a meal with your family and really bond. But I have to be able to handle the stressors in my life. So it would be nice to see exactly how things go. Now, the first time when I lost weight from lap band, now that was when I lost a significant amount of weight. I'm going to say a very significant, large amount of weight. Because I'd lost weight before and gained it back, but we're talking 20, 30 pounds. This was a lot more than that. Okay. And it was really difficult at that time to eat, right? And of course, I hadn't learned to cope with my emotions. And I started drinking more. And I did. I I even drink at home, and we don't even keep alcohol in the house normally because my husband doesn't drink. So, and I was more of a social drinker, so what's the point of keeping alcohol in the house? When I look back at it, I'm like, it wasn't the best experience because even though I lost the weight, I had trouble figuring out my brain and what I needed to do. How I could fix this, right? So I'm not saying it was a waste of time because it did. I finally realized it wasn't just the weight that I needed to fix. So this time, and it's really not even, I'm not even going after a number. I know what my goal number has always been for weight-wise, but it isn't really what I'm working toward. I'm working toward reversing these horrible symptoms, these horrible things that are taking over my body and diminishing my lifespan, not just from being overweight, but from the conditions that are developing. So we want to, reverse the conditions so I become healthier and that I can actually start leading a more, I will say normal as in I can do things, I can, bring in money for my family or do something, so be active. So that's what I'm working toward. So I know this was really just supposed to be a day 8 check-in, but I did talk about a few other things. I haven't been getting any questions yet from anyone because right now there's not a lot of people watching. But if you have any questions, if there's any questions posted, I will do my best to answer those. So that is my check-in for now. I'm still itching. My skin is still itchy. It's eczema. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how far we go. Thanks for tuning in.